All right. So I figured what we do is a little bit briefly just about the movement itself, because I knew there'd be some people here that haven't been in the past. And then the topic for today is MI, or some people call it PMI, and we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. But just if you look to this part, the movement mortgage difference, just to help you understand a little bit about who we are and why we're partnered with Movement and what makes us different to what is in the industry. Mortgage by itself isn't very exciting, but without it, you can't do your jobs effectively. You're working with the wrong people, you're wasting time, which time is money, and you're possibly losing client relationships because you're not working smarter, you're working harder. So what I put together is just very briefly, I'm not going to go over it line by line, but basically how we do things at Movement Mortgage versus what industry or industry standard is for a mortgage, okay? It talks about the file submission, the underwriting, the processing, and the closing date. As you can see, we have 4 steps. Industry standard is typically 8. The reason that we're able to do it differently is because our ratio of employees support to sales origination is 4 to 1, meaning that we have 4 support people on staff to every 1 loan originator. Industry standard is actually the reverse, 4 loan officers to 1 support person. So that's how we're doing it differently. We actually have an 11-7 shift that handles parsing all of our documents that are uploaded by clients or by ourselves. I don't know of anybody else in the industry, which I've been in for 26 years, that has an 11-7 shift sorting through documents that are received online. For those of you that have been in the industry a while, I'm sure you'll agree that you don't typically get emails at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. We actually see that here, okay? Because we do an upfront underwrite, because the file is looked at preferably before the buyer even finds a house, you now know if that file is going to close on time. Mark and Tony can both attest to it, that we're seeing actual commitment letters before an offer is even submitted, because we are underwriting upfront, okay? So just something to keep in mind. Maybe you have a deal you're not sure of, maybe you have a client you'd like to see what they're about. We will upfront your client before they even have a house, and our underwriting turn time on doing that is currently 6 hours, meaning if we get everything we need in 2 disclosures, which is all we need signed by the borrower in order to have permission to do this, that file will be looked at within 6 hours. Very different than the 4 to 6 weeks that we see elsewhere. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. You want to try a little different process. Those of you who do work with us have seen that that really does make a difference, and it makes you work smarter and not harder. We see clients all the time coming to us with pre-approvals from other lenders, and then we look at it and they're not valid. We've spent maybe 3-4 weeks driving them around Saturdays, weekends, nights, things obviously I don't care if you have nothing to do, you have something better to do than that for somebody that can't buy a house. And we see it happen. We had it happen on Friday. An agent who's a newer agent at RE/MAX, been working with somebody for 4 weeks. They had a pre-approval from an online lender. He says, you know, he really just wanted to stay with them, but I said, you guys were looking at this person, had a 540 credit score, which for those of you who know it is about 100 points away from lendable. And he can't buy anything. And this gentleman was working with these people for weeks. They were getting ready to submit an offer, and he had a pre-approval. So you can't always assume that because you have a pre-approval that means anything. When you see pre-approvals and you're not sure of the lender, you don't know the lender, really make sure you're pushing them towards somebody that you know and trust, because all too commonly in our industry, am I getting fallout from another lender and we cannot do the loan. But you said we could. You said pre-approved, pre-qualified, whatever. Sorry, I was wrong. A lot of times they don't even pull the credit. So if you're working with somebody, the biggest thing you can ask is, did they pull your credit and did they run your file through automated underwriting? You'll see on the pre-approvals a lot, AUS. AUS stands for automated underwriting system. If you don't see that that was run on there, it probably wasn't. The pre-qualification or pre-approval is not valid, okay? Does it really just mean somebody came in, they said, I make $50,000 a year and my credit's good, and they said, okay, here's a letter. And they do it all the time. We don't, okay? And I'm not going to say every lender does. There's a lot of lenders that are going to ask the right questions, but make sure you're working with one that has, because the market's too tight right now. And ultimately, if you do put that offer in, it does fall apart. Now, the next time you put an offer in with that real estate company, they're going to say, that agent doesn't know what they're doing. They had to back out of a deal because the person wasn't even qualified. It reflects on you in so many ways, not just the lender. You can say, well, the lender sucked. Well, you know what they did, but as a realtor, you weren't doing your due diligence. You're the one that looks like you suck to them. They don't even pay attention where the lender came from. They say this deal came from XYZ at Exit Realty, and 2 weeks into it, they said this person cannot get financing. So the next time I get an offer from XYZ at Exit Realty, I'm going to think twice about accepting it if I have more than one. Okay, just something to keep in mind. Second thing I wanted to talk about, which is the subject of PMI or MI. It's on the second page, which is the chart that I put together for you. It's funny, and it shows how technology has changed. The first thing I was going to say is you could cut out what I highlighted and laminate it. And I said, well, you really don't need to do that. You just take a picture of it. Take a picture of the first square. The second square doesn't really matter. That's only if somebody's doing 20 years or less on a mortgage. Most people don't need mortgage insurance doing a 20-year or less term. The biggest thing that we can forget to calculate in for someone when we're working with them is what is your PMI or your MI payment going to be? Does anybody know what mortgage insurance is?
That's to cover the difference. If you go belly up on your loan, to cover the difference of 20%.
So you need to have at least 20% down to avoid a monthly mortgage insurance payment on your mortgage, okay? The only time that you're not going to see that is if somebody has lender paid MI, which means a higher interest rate in exchange for no mortgage insurance. Highly, highly do not recommend that. Okay, it's a lower payment up front, but you're paying that interest rate forever. With mortgage insurance in the lower interest rate, even though the payment's a little bit more because you have that, once you get to 80%, that PMI payment goes away. Okay, so you're better off to do it the other ways. You say, well, why does it exist? It exists with lender paid MI because sometimes the ratios are too high, meaning they will not qualify with that higher payment. So you need the lower payment, even though it's going to be more graduated, it's going to cost them more long term. It's the only thing that's going to get them into a house. Okay, long-term programs all drop MI when the borrower gets to 80% equity, meaning if they
20%.
meaning they have 20% equity in the house or 80% of the value. So meaning if there's a $100,000 mortgage purchase price, when that mortgage gets down to 80%, regardless of where the market is, that PMI will go away. Okay? So the only time that doesn't happen is with government loans. Government loans, such as FHA, PMI stays on the file forever. It doesn't go away. You say, well, how is that legal? It's not, but the government does it, so it's okay. So when you're working with somebody with an FHA loan and you get into the discussion of PMI or MI with them, make sure you understand the fact that that payment will not go away for the life of the loan. The other thing you want to understand is that PMI for most folks is tax deductible. It used to be, but for several years it now has been, where that PMI payment as well as the mortgage interest is tax deductible, provided the household income is less than $111,000. If it's over $111,000 for the household, they still can write off some of it, but it's a percentage. It graduates. The higher it gets, the less it is. So it's not as bad as it once was because at least you can write it off, which a lot of people don't know about. So when you're working with a borrower, a way to soften that blow is, you know, it is tax deductible in most cases. Always, I don't care what you say, Tracy will back me up on that, in most cases. Never cover yourself blanketly with a statement that something is, because if for some reason it's not, you told me, okay? But in most cases, I mean, $111,000 I think is a pretty decent household income to have to exceed, okay? The chart and why I want you to have it on your phone is because a lot of times when people come to you as an agent, which I recommend they always are pre-qualified, but let's say on the off chance they aren't, and they say, well, I'm going to be putting 2% to 3% down or 5% down, or you're talking about payments, and they want to know a rough idea. When you go onto most mortgage calculators, which, by the way, there's one on my website as well, it's not going to calculate PMI for you. So it's a payment that is often forgotten or neglected. So then somebody says, well, you know, I met with Tim and, you know, we estimated my mortgage payment's $1,500. You're telling me $1,700. Not a bad, the right foot to get off on with most people because you didn't put the PMI payment in there. That chart is very easy to understand. It talks about 3% down, 5% down, 10% down, 15% down, and it graduates based on credit score. So you can estimate, you know, how's your credit? They say pretty good. Well, lower it down a little bit. What that factor is going to be. You say, well, great. So what does that do for me? Well, let's look at, let's say you had a borrower that came in with, you know, And I highlighted the ones that are relevant because the other coverages are only if they're doing a home ownership program, which 9 out of 10 times they won't be. So we want to go off of what I highlighted. But let's say somebody comes in and they say, I'm going to do 10% down and I have impeccable credit. So 10% down with impeccable credit is going to be 0.30%. You see, everyone see where it's highlighted as 30.30%? That's their annual premium, meaning 0.30% of the loan amount is going to be their annual premium. So you figure out their monthly amount by taking that 0.30 and divide it by 12. So for example, if somebody was buying a $100,000 house, you would take 100,000 times 0.30, that would be $3,000 a year divided by 12. And that's their monthly PMI amount. They have little pocket ones, which I'm ordering, but this will really put you ahead of your competition when you're trying to figure out a number. And to know if you've done it right, sometimes you may not put your decimal right. PMI payments monthly are not thousands of dollars. They're in hundreds. So if you get to somewhere and it's like 100 and then another 0 and then 0.37, it's basically 103 cents. Okay, you're not going to see a PMI payment of more than $300 to $400 would be the maximum you're going to see, and they go as low as $30, $20 a month. So if your decimals may get screwed up till you get used to doing it, but this is a very handy thing to keep because, again, I know myself, unless you're doing something I'm not, most people are not putting 20% down these days. We actually had a person yesterday, and one of the guys in the office came to me because they were like, this is 20% down. They were like, because we don't get that. Who has 60 or 75,000 in the bank in 2017? Not many people. When they do, keep your claws into them and don't let them go somewhere else. But usually it is going to be a 3% or a 5% down program. Again, this isn't the be all and end all like anything else. It might be a government program, a veteran where they wouldn't have PMI. But this is a very good guide to help understand what a payment is going to look like if somebody comes to you and because again, we're all supposed to be the experts. You know, Tim, Mario, what's my payment going to look like? PMI is the one thing that it gets forgotten every single time. When someone comes to me, my agent told me this, they never put the PMI. Do you know what PMI is? No. Did your agent talk about it? No. That's where you can be different because I'm here to tell you, if you go to 10 different agencies, I guarantee you PMI, a lot of them don't even know what it is or what it stands for. And if they do, they don't feel it's something they want to get into, so they don't even address it. Be above and beyond, a little bit more savvy to the industry, and now you know what PMI and MI is, what it stands for, and why people have to have it. Okay, do you have any questions on that? Yes.
I do. I have a question. How long does the loan have to be enforced before they can finance out of PMI?
Okay, very good question. There's actually two ways that somebody can get rid of PMI ahead of paying it down to having the equity in the property. One is, as she said, by refinancing. The other one is by reappraising. Okay, big difference in how you would do the two. Refinancing is, I don't like my rate. I think the rates are lower. Plus, I think you can get rid of PMI in the process. So I'm going to do a whole new mortgage. I'm going to refinance my mortgage. That can be done at any time, unless they have a loan that has a prepayment penalty, and I don't know of any in Massachusetts that do.
Okay.
So, I mean, the chances are going to be refinance the next month and they have the equity, but it could be at any time. Okay, to refinance.
Okay.
As far as a new appraisal, which is what we see more of these days, that can vary from lender to lender, but it's typically Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac rule of 24 months. That's not 24 payments. That doesn't mean, well, I paid 16 payments, but I really want to see if I can do this, so I have the money to pay 6 payments up front. It's 24 on scheduled payments, or 2 years.
Okay.
Okay. In our market, we have a benefit to seeing that. I've seen that happen. Mark and I just had a borrower maybe about 6 months ago where they were able to do a new appraisal and get rid of a $270 a month PMI payment. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where when we were talking about lender paid versus not,
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, I got a lower payment up front because I got a higher interest rate but no PMI, but I don't have the option to ever get rid of that rate except for by refinancing.
Right.
Dropping the PMI and getting rid of it really is what lowers your payment. Nadia?
So will any lenders take a broker price it from?
Oh, no, it's got to be an appraisal, and again, just so you know, so you don't have your borrower or your client come out of pocket, you can't order the appraisal, have it in hand, and call the bank and say, I have an appraisal, I want to get rid of PMI. You have to call the bank, and honestly, that's not the bank, that's HVCC through the CFPB, which hopefully will be going away according to Trump, where they have said they feel it's not in your best interest to be able to get your own appraisal for any reason. So you can see how a lot of these rules don't really help the consumer, because they're saying it's helping you, but it's not, because now you have to use the bank's appraiser. Who knows who that servicer is going to send to you, and if the appraisal is really going to come back accurately, which you have to pay for upfront, regardless of result. So if you have a client that calls you again how you can be an expert and better than other people, you may not get that deal because they're not looking to sell or buy, but you'll get somebody else because you were nice. You know what, John? I don't think you have the equity to do that. I wouldn't waste your money. Your house would have to be worth $270. The comps are $240. We're not even close. Or, you know what, I think you stand a good chance. Let me print up some comps for you, which again, Mark has done. Here are some comps where I see that you can give to the appraiser. No guarantees, but I'm seeing 280, 290 selling all around you, so a better chance in it happening. So again, where you can kind of have your in with these people, I think, is to say, you know, yeah, let me help you out here. Let's look at it, because again, they can be paid $500, $600, $700 for an appraisal to get out of something that they can't get out of. I have people calling me sometimes 2 months after they purchased. I think I have the equity. Your house is actually worth less than you paid for it right now because you didn't take care of it in 2 months. It looks worse, you know. So, but it's a great way to lower payment, because again, sometimes your PMI payment might be $200, $250, $290 a month. When you get rid of that, that's a half a car payment. I used to say it's a car payment. Now it's half a car payment. If you have a $290 car payment, let me know where you buy your car. Any other questions on PMI? And again, just to end some people will call it MI, some people will call it PMI. It's the same thing. It's mortgage insurance or private mortgage insurance. It is the same thing. And unless somebody is either a veteran, they're putting 20% down, or they are part of some special program, they have to pay this. There is no, well, I went to this bank, they don't have it. They do. They may say they don't, because instead of 4.5%, the rate is 5%. They're paying this PMI. So I hope that helps you. It's not a very interesting subject, but I think, again, when I was trying to put something together, I wanted to see what is something that I see coming through. And a lot of times it's that payments are way lower than they really are, because as an agent, you're not discussing PMI with people. That chart, I think you'll find helpful. And again, I am going to get little booklets, but again, that one happened to be from Essent, but ARCH, A-R-C-H, if you go to www.archmi.com, you can actually download an MI calculator right on your phone. I don't think you have to be that technical, but it can help you, you know, again, you know, somebody specifically is really tight on payment and they say to you, don't show me a house if the payment's going to be over $1,400 because that's all I'm paying. This can help you have a better idea. You can always call me, but I think it's important to be empowered a little bit yourselves too, where, yeah, I can just pull it up. Again, they have it, the calculators right on their phone. That's why I didn't go through the problem of ordering you pocket things, because again, in 2017, I don't think we used pocket squares and calculators and things like that. But the online tool is great. You can just put in amount of down payment, and estimate a credit score, and it's going to tell you what their monthly PMI will be. We'll also tell you when it will drop off. Okay? So
Awesome. Thank you.
have a good,
Appreciate it, Greg.
be careful out there. It looks like a little icy.
Thank you.
11 o'clock's the parade. I'll be taking it. I mean, like, yeah.
George, can you hear us?
I can. Good morning.
Good morning.
How
All
are
right,
you?
we're going to get started with our speakers for today, and our topic today is team building. And we've got a couple great guest speakers with us. One will be coming on later at 11:30, Chad Swendlin. But now we have, up first, we have George Bryant from Fort Washington, Maryland. That's right?
Yeah, Fort Washington, Maryland. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And George, just want to give you, you want to give how long you've been in the business?
Okay, cool. Yeah. First, are you all New England Patriots fans? I have to ask that first.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Well, congratulations on a great Super Bowl win. Tom Brady is a GOAT. I have to say that. You know, so I'm a heavy Dallas fan, but I'm definitely. I've been in the business for about 9 years, close to 10 years. I started off with Exit Dynamic with Dante Mayo, who actually folded during the crash, and he merged all of his agents over to Exit Elite Realty and Coy Banks, and that's how I got the Coy actually by default. So and after being with Coy for a while, I had there's a transit system here called Metro. They have subways similar to New York. The DC area is similar to New York when it comes to the transit system. And I was a manager there for about 10 years. I started off doing investing there. And what happened was the investing got good back in 06 and 07, a little bit of 07. And I resigned from my job because I wanted to do real estate full time. And when that happened, I was told by some and told by others to do it. Some told me not to do it, and the market crashed. And so what I had to do is I basically had to go get a part-time job. And I'm a very transparent person, so I'm just going to say everything that I went through to get where I am today. I had to go get a part-time job. And when I got the part-time job, I just refused to give up on real estate. Now, at that time, I was a single dad. My son was graduating from high school. My daughter was a sophomore in high school. And what happened, I went out and bought a fancy car, BMW. I had all of this stuff going, and the market was crashing, and the money was tightening up. So once I got that part-time job, it was not enough to actually take me to the level I needed to go. Now, I was a real estate agent. My mortgage was behind. My car note was behind. I couldn't sell. I couldn't pay my car insurance, so I had to put my car in the garage because I was hiding it from the repo man. I'm just being transparent. And but I never stopped moving my feet. I always tell my team, when you play football and you're a running back, the coach always tells you when you're hitting that hole, you never stop moving your feet. You keep moving your feet because that's going to get you that extra yardage. So what I did is I just kept grinding, and I started going into the office more. A lot of people think they can do real estate out of the office. I thought I could do real estate out of the office. So what I did, I got to the point where I started parking my bus, a coach bus, a 55-passenger bus, at the office every day up until 2 or 3 o'clock, where I had to go back into DC, down to the State Department near the White House, and pick people up and take them back out to Leonardtown, Maryland, which is about a 2-hour drive, and then bring the bus back to the yard. It got to the point where when I was coming in the office, Coy started noticing it, and he started giving me pointers. He told me to take Johnny Lowy's class at the time. Because I told him I'm reaching the ceiling, man. I'm doing okay, but I need to learn more. And so it got to the point, Johnny and I would talk on the phone, and he would tell me, you need to become a listing. You need more listings. You need more listings. So it got to the point where I was driving the bus, and I don't laugh, I was driving the bus after work to appointments, parking the bus 2 blocks away and walking to people's houses to do the appointment. So these are the things that I had to sacrifice and go through as I was growing. So as things started going, I did it kind of backwards. I grabbed, it was a young lady from Keller Williams. At that time, we were doing a lot of short sales. So I called her and I was like, hey, you should come over to Exit. I'm building a team. I don't know where the concept came from. I just thought one day I want to build a team. And it kind of hit me because Coy's wife, who owns a title company here, she was talking to me, and what was going on was I was giving other agents in the office leads to go out and do showings for me and do listing appointments for me because I was driving the bus. So she was like, okay, what do you want to do with real estate? I said, I want to open a brokerage. She said, well, broker means broke. I said, well, why do you say that? You're married to a broker. That's why I'm telling you this. She said, you need to start a real estate team. You start your team. You have no overhead. You don't have to pay the light bill. You don't have any worries. You just come in. You may pay your office rent, and you feed your team, and you become a rainmaker. So I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So I took it serious, but you have to be coachable when you're doing a team because your broker has information that you don't have. So basically what I did is I would meet with Coy every Tuesday. So I hired 2 agents that were buyer agents. I brought the young lady in from Keller Williams. There was another young lady that was at Capital Structures Realty, that is a local real estate company here, that used to be with Exit. She was with an Exit that folded. I went and got her, and she came back to Exit. We actually met in the CE classes when I was talking to her about coming back to Exit. So we started off with those 2. One was dual career, the other was just doing all of my short sales. So it got to the point where even with those 2, I still had to give, Coy's dad is a licensed agent. He started helping me with my buyers and so on and so forth. So it got to the point where I was noticing they would have 2 and 3 buyers that from Generate. Now, all of this came from me going to Johnny Lloyd, him teaching me the importance of being in the office and bringing people to the office to do the appointments. And then I started marketing with Zillow. So I met a lender here that I've been working with for now about 4 years. And we started off with $67 a month with Zillow a piece. And we were so hungry at the time that I would, I had a reputation for just picking my phone up in the middle of conversations and answering the phone and going to people. But it worked because we were starting to get a lot of buyers from Zillow. I started getting listings from that. So our team is very buyer heavy. It's kind of unusual. Usually teams are more listings, but we're very buyer heavy. We do have a lot of listings, but we're buyer heavy. So it started off like that. So once I got them, I was told by Coy, hey, you need an assistant. So I was like, okay, an assistant. I can't afford to pay an assistant. That was all my mindset. How can I pay an assistant? So I did what he said. I went and got the assistant, and I was nervous. I'll be honest. I was very nervous. I was like, well, how am I going to pay her a weekly salary? How's this going to happen? But believe it or not, like Ms. Nesby says, don't worry about the how. The how will take care of itself. So I just kept working. I paid that assistant. That assistant moved on. I got another assistant as the team grew. Her sister was one of the top agents on the team till she actually got good. She actually has her own team now. That assistant now is a licensed agent. Now we have a team manager, which is actually a licensed agent that sells real estate. And we have a total of 4 buyers agents. We have 1 listing manager. We have 1 showing agent. We have 1 assistant, and we have 4 buyers agents, 1 assistant. Now the showing agent is a paid showing agent. He used to be on the team, and he basically he was not good at negotiations. He wasn't good at doing contracts, and we had a lot of issues that could have got us in trouble with some of the contracts he did. So what we did is we gave him a break for a while, and we brought him back. And I met with him. I said, hey, you can be a paid showing agent. I'll pay you a certain percentage of the commission, and that frees me up to keep building on the team, and you could show all my buyers. So actually, I don't show houses much. I did this weekend because he went on a ski trip, but I did this weekend, so I actually don't show too many houses right now. I have them doing it, and then we have the buyers agents that prospect constantly. So we do a lot of radio advertisement. We're very heavy on radio. We do a lot of Zillow. We do Realtor.com, and we have Commissions Inc. now. Now, your next guest is someone that actually coached me into getting Commissions Inc. and going to the coaching program that I'm in. So Chad Swinderman and we met before at one of the conferences. I can't remember how long ago. And he gave me his number, and I would text him and call him and get information. And at the Bahamas last year, he basically told me, hey, get Commissions Inc. and hire a coach. Michael Jordan has a coach. Magic Johnson had a coach. Larry Bird had a coach. He just went down the line, okay? So I was hesitant about hiring a coach. I was like, again, my apprehension came up again. How am I going to pay for a coach? That's $1,000 to $1,600 a month that I have to pay on top of my marketing. Well, I'm doing it. And the coaching is helping. It has the team more organized. It has me more working on my business. Now it actually holds the accountability for the team members, for myself, my coach. Everything that they send me and Cochran, I have to send it to my coach. And we're doing right now. We're in an 8-week ramp-up program. So basically, the team is actually developing more and more, and I don't feel we are at the level that we're going to get. Last year, we were the number one team. The year before that, we were the number one team. I think we did close to 30 million in commissions. I can't remember. I know they say those who count their numbers and know their conversion rates are those who are most successful, but I got to be honest, I don't do that because I have a philosophy where if you start watching the clock, it never moves. So I just keep working. I just keep putting in the work. I keep boots on the ground. We do something called bandit signs that we created with our lender. And, you know, a lot of people used to do the We Buy Houses signs. So we took that and we turned it into a different thing. We have what we call the 580 credit score sign. So we did that, and we had big banners out on the major highway exits. And I actually would do that stuff myself. I still do it to this day myself. Every Friday, it's my decompression. I go out for about 5 or 6 hours. I go all over Prince George's County. From one side, because we have 2 offices. Exit Elite actually has 3 offices, and the Bryant team has 2 offices, one in Lanham and one in Fort Washington. My primary office is out of Fort Washington. So I actually go out and I put the work in. I go out, I put those signs out. I put my millionaire real estate agent in my ear with the headphones or some type of the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, something audio that I can keep learning as I'm working. So we go out, we do that. Sometimes some of the guys come out and help me, but a lot of times I don't want them to help me because I just want that time to myself to actually go out there. And that to me is a form of prospecting. As long as it's just like door knocking. It's whenever you're putting yourself in front of people. So we advertise. I mean, our marketing budget for radio alone this year is $100,000. The first quarter is $25,000. We've already started that. But marketing to me became you have to market. If you're going to be on a team, if you're going to build a team marketing, you got to create those leads. Everybody has Zillow now. Everybody has Realtor.com. There's a lot of competition. They say you need to call within 5 minutes. Well, on our team, you need to call within 2 or 3 minutes. But at the end of the day, you want more of those organic leads where you can put your website in front of people. You can put it over the air and radio. We even had a TV commercial that we ran. So the more you do that, you start seeing people looking for you rather than you looking for people. And that's the concept of being that rainmaker. So it kind of elevated me to a place where I didn't expect and didn't think I was going to be. I was number 65 in the top 100 last year. Kind of fell off this year. I think people either did better this year or I did worse. I came in number 80 this year, and I still feel like that's not good enough. I tell Chad that I want to be right behind him, if not right where he is. But at the end of the day, it's a process. And one thing I've learned about being a team lead is you have to be selfless. You have to be. A lot of teams that I see local, it's all about the team lead. It's all about him or her getting everything. Well, my commission splits are totally different from other team leads. And the reason why is because we already have to split with the brokerage. This is not 100% brokerage. So I look at all of that. I look at, okay, if you're getting 70% and then I'm splitting that with you, come on, your volume has to be crazy. What I do is I do a split that works for everybody. I met with Blair down in Georgia before he left Exit, and he told me, hey, we flew down there just to meet with him. Hey, your split should be this. And when we did that, he kind of woke me up. I was like, okay, cool. I'm already there, but he wanted me to go like 0.5% higher, and I didn't. And I slept on it. I met with my team manager, then I talked to the operations manager here, and I was like, hey, this split thing is, the coach I was going to hire wanted me to do 50-50, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't see myself doing it. So we focus a lot on volume. That's why we put this marketing out there. So you have to be more about your team. And what I've seen with teams and our brokerage and other brokerages is that some of the teams, it's like a revolving door that's too fast. It's extremely fast. And you're going to have that with some, but when it's that fast and you're always starting over, there's something wrong. And so at the end of the day, what I do is I focus on, they always ask you, what's your why? And I tell everybody, well, first, my wife, my family. Then the other 50% is my team, because I have people that depend on me. I have people that are looking that are paid salary every week, looking for that check to feed their family. So I have to work. I have to go to the gym every morning. I have to keep myself healthy. I have to eat right. I can't be a party animal, because at the end of the day, I have to have that energy to build my business. So I look at this thing, it's a business to me. I don't look at it like I'm just a real estate agent with agents under me. It's a business. I have an accountant that I pay. It's a full-fledged business to me. So at the end of the day, I have to be studied. I have to be able to answer questions. We have words of mass destruction that we say to our team, like can't, like I don't know. If you don't know, you have to find out. So as the team lead, I can't say I don't know that. I'll listen, and then I'll go, if I don't know something, I'll go to Coy, or I'll make a call. I'll text somebody out of the state if I have to, that I've built a relationship with. So that's one thing about being a team, building a team. You will see success. And then seeing that success, you have to become more about the people around you. And when you become like that, there's a saying, and when you help others, you're definitely going to get where you need to be. So you can lead from the top down, but I like to lead I like to push people up. And if we do that, I think you can get nothing but success. Another thing that Coy was telling me one time when he was in the Bahamas, he does a lot of one-on-ones with me. And, you get a lot of jealousy sometimes when you're successful. You're the number one agent in your office. You have the number one team. You get a lot of jealousy. So he told me one day, he said, I recognize it, but I need you to focus on one thing. I said, what's that? He said, you got to remember the word humility. I don't care how bad it gets, how good you do. He said, the further you go up, the more humble you need to become. Let it roll down your shoulder, eat it, grow on it, and keep moving forward. And those things are internalized, because basically he's right. You see a lot. You see a lot of stuff that's going to come your way. You're going to make mistakes. I started the team backwards. I should have got an assistant first and then got agent. That's what I should have did. But you're going to make mistakes. And I always tell the team members, failure is necessary. I think it's not even failure to me. It's just lessons. I like challenges. I like things that, if it's a challenge and I think that it's going to probably be something that we can't do, I'm gonna push harder, because that's going to feed into the team. We sometimes compete with other brokerages. What we do is we go and ask Coy, well, what's this brokerage's numbers for this quarter or the year? And we'll set a goal, and we'll tell Coy, watch us and tell us if we're meeting this goal. And we'll push, and we know what we're doing, and we'll push. We have our morning huddles every day. So when I get off with you all, I'll be going on a morning huddle. On Mondays and Fridays, we have our lenders and our vendors on our morning huddles. We don't want to bore them with our stuff every day. So we come on, each team member has to have an inspirational quote. They have to give an update on their status of their goals. Each week they have to set a goal. I'm gonna get 2 listings, 2 ratified contracts. So it's basically it's something that we have to implement and go. Now all of this happened prior to us getting coaching. Now we all have coaching, and it's actually enhancing what we're doing. So if you're building a team, I would say just look at getting an assistant first. Once you get your assistant, then you can start getting your team members, because the assistant is going to increase your value. All day long, the assistant is going to take things away from you. For example, before I got on the call, we have a settlement tomorrow. I saw the HUD 1 was incorrect. If I was on this call, I have people around me that can take care of that know what it should be. I wouldn't have to go get into that. I can do this call, and I can go do something else. And so now I'm at the point now where I'm just more working and tweaking individuals. I do what we call weekly goal meetings. We pull out their weekly schedules, their daily schedules. We compare. We look at, okay, if you're going to do 44 deals a year, then you should be right here, right now. We look at that every day, and if then every week. If they're not there, then we look at how we can get you there. Now, everybody's not going to work out. Some people are going to know it all. Some people are going to be rebellious. Some people are not they're gonna try to tell you after they've only done 3 rentals a year, they're gonna try to tell you after you get 25 deals how to do your business. That's gonna happen. They're gonna tell you, no, you should do it this way. And humbly, you gotta be humble and say, okay, I'll consider that. But when you look at the production, it's kind of backwards that you're coming to tell me I should be doing what you was doing to get 3 rentals and I did 25 deals. So I think that I know that you're gonna run into that. There's a lot of there's jealousy within the team. You might see somebody saying, well, they're getting more leads than me. So what I do, when I saw that, I said, you eat what you kill. Everybody has the same opportunity to claim these leads. If you're too busy and you're doing other things that you can't claim these leads like everybody else, then you won't eat. It's just simple as that. I should do what they call a rotation, and that rotation caused a lot of problems. Whose turn is it? Who's next? So I got rid of it. You eat what you kill. And everybody has the access to claim the leads, to pick up the phone, because the phone rings in each office from the radio ads. And if you're not, you're not available, you're not coming in the office, then you won't eat. It's as simple as that. We're all grown here. I mean, if you wanna be successful in real estate, you have to show some ambition, and that's how I deal with them. So there's gonna be some problems with that. So that's going to come. You can't avoid that, and you're probably going to have to counsel that person or part ways and still be cool. And some people I parted ways with, and I still want to see successful. I still help them, and that's just what it is. So that's my take on it: humility, sacrifice, and constant grind. And that's my take. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer questions if you have any.
All right. So you said you're doing a lot of radio advertising. What are your ads? What's the type of ads you're running on radio?
We used to do, we had the branded signs for the 580 FHAVA. I can show you one. I don't know. This is the newest one. I don't know if you see it.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, this is the newest ad right here. We started off with the 580. But now Maryland has a grant program where you can get up to $10,000. So we have these signs, and you see the website at the bottom. After you see grant money, it's, the website there, and then we got both office numbers, and we got the exit elite there. So we started off doing radio advertisement with the signs that said 580 FHAVA. And what that did, the radio advertisement, it solidified everything that we were saying. You had personalities doing it, so on and so forth. So we've done, we got a husband and wife couple on our team. So we had them do a commercial at the end of the year for the last grant program that they had, and they bounced off each other, and there was my husband and my wife. And it was good because when we would go out, like passing out our business cards, people would get to see the husband and say, oh, you and your wife was on the radio. So we did that. And right now, I started the year off doing the ad with the grant program, talking about the District of Columbia, which is DC. They have programs, and I talked about the state of Maryland's programs, and now PG County, the sign I just showed you, has programs. So I started off talking about that. That'll run up until the first quarter, and then we'll have somebody else going to do an ad after that. We don't know. We'll change it up after that. We change it up every quarter.
Okay. So you're doing Realtor.com and Zillow. Do you like one better than the other? And
I like Zillow better than Realtor.com, and the reason why is because I started off in Fort Washington, and Fort Washington has an area called Akakie, and there's a neighboring county, Charles County, where there's Waldorf and Grimes Road, and we got so many leads, and the price point there is about $300,000 to $400,000, and when I would do Realtor.com on that side, it didn't work as well. But on the Lanham side, now this is the flip. On the Lanham side, Realtor.com works better in Lanham than Zillow. So I have Realtor.com now in Lanham, and then I have majority of the Zillow in on the Fort Washington side. But I spend more money on Zillow because it's been good to me and it's worked for me. At one time, we had over a $3,000 a month budget for Zillow.
Do you know what your average cost is to acquire a buyer from those sources?
We did the numbers. I don't have them in front of me. Because it's split 50-50 between myself and the lender. But what do you think it is, Janine? It's about average for buyers from those, because the price point's so different here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for per buyer, yeah, for client. Yeah, she can put it up but she's sending the email and I can get that for you.
Sure.
It's like $2,000, yeah, it's $1,000 a piece per between myself and the loan officers. I think it's $1,000 a piece. And our price point here is $250 or better. $250 here is REO properties, properties that need some work. When you start looking for a price point here, it's 300, 400,000. DC's average price point is 500,000. So it's so it's about $1,000 per person between myself and the lender. So it's $2,000 altogether.
To acquire a buyer.
A buyer from the marketing that we do, yeah.
Okay, all right. So your showing agent, do you ever have any, I hear all the time concerns of, with team leaders that they say, well, if I get a showing agent, I feel like they want me and they're not getting me, and they'd be concerned about that. Do you have any issues with that with buyers, or you just tell them up front, this is the way we work? And
I tell them up front. At first, when it was just me answering the phones, when we first started the team, I was answering the phones, and people said they were buying me, they was buying into me, and they wanted me. That's true. But over time, as I stopped answering the phone and I have 2 cell phones. I transfer one to each office, whichever office one is in. And now that they talk to the team manager or the assistant, it's it works a little better. But I meet with each buyer prior to them signing up with the brokerage as a client. And when I meet with them, I give them my business card, I give them the showing agent's business card, and I tell them, hey, he's a licensed agent. He just loves showing houses. This is what he likes to do. I run a team with 2 offices, and sometimes I may not be available to show you the house that you want to see at that time. And if you miss that house, you might miss out on that house. So I think it's better that we have him who does this all day, every day, that can help you, because you don't want to miss no opportunity to get a house. So that's what I basically tell them in the buyer broker.
What about when it's a past client of yours that you've worked with on your own, maybe years ago, and do they have the same understanding when you kind of pass them off? Is there resistance to that?
Well, yes, because I stay in touch with my past clients a lot. I mean, I called them maybe 3 or 4 times right after settlement, and some of them have actually watched the growth. I wasn't on the radio when I worked with some of them. I wasn't doing the TV commercials. I wasn't the #1 agent, and Facebook does a great thing for us. So I befriend all of my clients on Facebook. They see the stuff that's posted, they comment on it, and then they actually are proud to have had me as an agent. And they say that they like and they comment on the things on Facebook. And when they come and they send a referral, they understand it now. They feel they've watched the growth. They've actually grown with me. Because basically I stayed in touch with them. When they had problems on their homes, I didn't the house was sold now. I would actually get involved. One time, twice actually, after maybe a year, one of my past clients, they had a problem with their sump pump. I don't know if you all have sump pumps in that area that's in the basement to stop the basement from flooding. I went and paid for it. I mean, stuff like that. Coy goes and does the shoveling for snow sometimes for his clients. He has a crew. So what he does that's successful, I follow his lead. So I keep that relationship open. I mean, it may cost you $300 or $400 to do that, but the amount of people they're going to send is going to be great. And they've actually grown with me. So they understand it. I actually haven't had any problem with it, not at all.
So when they know that you're growing and having to bring on more people, they're okay with not always getting 100% of your attention.
Exactly. But one thing I do, I want to say this. I let them know, you can call me with any problems. You can meet with me, and when they call, I respond immediately.
Yeah.
I don't respond 2 hours later. Even if I'm in a meeting, I'll ask, hey, can I get a minute? And because I know they want me. So I'll call them immediately and let them know, hey, I'm in a meeting, can I call you back? And they understand that. We talk about it. So those things do happen. But yeah, they're okay with it.
Does the showing agent just get a percentage? They're not hourly paid?
He gets, and now I don't know what you would do with your showing agent, but he gets 10%.
Okay.
I was actually paying him per showing. And Corey kind of coached me through the structure. He was like, pay him $50 per showing. So, and when I say per showing, that would be three houses in an hour. He gets $50. So if we did 4 people that day, that's $200. So I kind of felt like he wasn't getting enough. So what I did is I said, okay, we're gonna change the structure. On January 1st, we changed the structure to 10%. And if I feel like the volume, which I see it is picking up, and it will pick up even more, I'm probably going to increase it more, because the more money I make, I want to see him make it so he can be happy. So yeah,
Okay.
10% right now.
So when they're ready to make an offer, do you work with them, or you have someone else in the office that does that?
Okay, so when they're ready to make an offer, and this is the system that we've designed, the team manager, he sends over the information to myself and the team manager. The client reaches out to the team manager. The team manager prepares the contract. Yes, I do still talk to the client through that process. She does the contract. She submits it to Dotloop. They sign it. Then she submits the offer. Now, I get involved when things get a little heated. Something goes wrong. That's when I really start getting involved. But I still reach out to the client. Hey, congratulations on your accepted offer. Call me if you need me, you have any questions. I do that immediately. I send them a text message immediately. But the team manager, she actually prepares the contract. Now on the weekend, because she has a family and she shows houses, because she sells houses too. She's actually one of the top agents on the team, and she does the office work. I mean, she does a lot. So on the weekend, I prepare the contracts myself.
What did you look for in an assistant, and is your assistant licensed?
Yeah, she is licensed. My first 2 assistants were not licensed, and the first one, I knew that wasn't going to last long. I was only paying her $250. So you get what you pay for a week. Being honest, I was paying $250 a week. You get what you pay for. The next one, she kind of bit back on that $250. And she's like, that's not enough money for me. So her sister was selling all of these houses with me, and she's watching and she sees everything. She said, I need more money. So she ended up getting her license. And when she got her license, I had myself for about a week, and Corey had his operations manager interview. I put out an ad on Craigslist. And this is weird. Let me tell you how this happened. The old assistant I had put the ad on Craigslist wrong. She actually put it on there as if I was looking for this big executive, assistant, like we was this big, and I was a brokerage, and we got people that had PhDs. It was just funny. So the very last interview, the young lady came in, and I was worn out. We interviewed for 2 days. In the very last interview, Sharice, who's I don't know if you all were at the convention, Sharice speaks, and she did the speech on the stage. And she did the interviews for everybody. And she interviewed Janita, who's my team manager. And she started talking to her, looked at her resume, Keller Williams, ran a brokerage at Keller Williams. And, and I was like, she was the admin. I was like, hold on. And I got excited, and I was like, she's hired. And she kept tapping me like, you're moving too fast. You're moving too fast, right? So after we got out of that meeting, what I was looking for is what she had. She was a licensed assistant. She wanted to sell, but she wanted the income every week, and she didn't mind running the office. Now, what happened, based on that being the wrong advertisement, she went home and was not going to accept the job. She was actually going to go for another appointment, an interview, and Sharice texted me and said, follow up with her. So I followed up with her, and I guess I don't know how the she's sitting right next to me listening to this right now. So I don't know how the conversation went, but she saw the team in its stage, and she had been on a team. She had ran a team for a broker. And she was like, I'm going to sacrifice and do this. I'm going to take this pay cut, and I'm going to work with you all. And we're going to just build this team. So with the lender, which I love my lenders, and I heard you all have, I've heard Movement Mortgage, we deal with them there too, but I love my lender. He said, I will pay her a certain amount of money every month just to collect the documentation for us and send it to us by email. That way we can make up for some of the salary that she has. And he does that every month. Cash, I won't get into, that's their business. But it helps me. So, and she gets to sell. And she's not, when I say she gets to sell, she sells, she has an investor. I'll give you an example. She met an investor in September. She has done, how many, 7 deals with him? 7 deals, and each deal that he rehabs, she lists the property for. So her personal stuff, I can't say this loud, her personal stuff, she keeps 100% of her personal stuff. I don't charge her a team split because then I mean, the bonus is I don't have room really to give that right now, so you have to give and take. So her family member, somebody she meets in the grocery store, that's all hers. It's all hers. She keeps 100% of that.
Is that the same for all team members?
I can't say it again.
Is that the same for all team members on there?
No, it is not. Just for her.
Yeah.
Because she does a lot of work, trust
Do
me.
you offer a different split for personal stuff?
Say that again?
If they do bring in their own deals though, do they get a different split than the lead generator?
Well, I'm gonna just be transparent. I only get 10% off of their personal stuff. And how I look at that 10% is I put it back into the marketing pool. Some of the splits I get from, like I had one on, was it Monday, Friday, $474 from the personal stuff. So it just goes in the bank. And you know, and if they're codes in personal and team stuff, and I'm getting 10%, and I get that from 5 people, that's a month worth of Zillow and Commissions Inc. So I look at that as a funnel to keep the marketing going. My stuff, I look at like a barbershop. The barber that owns the barbershop just to keep what he cuts. The people that work for the barbershop maintain and keep the barbershop afloat. So I see it like that. I really want them to make money. So on their personal deals, it's just 10%. She used to pay me 10%, but after I saw the work she was doing, because she went on vacation, and when she went on vacation, it was just me. And after that week, I was like, well, we need to talk. And that's when I came up with that idea. This started around December when she went on vacation for the Christmas holiday. So I was like, we really need to talk because you do a lot of work. And, you know, I'm about people getting their fair share. So that's why we set that up.
Yeah, I think that's important. I hear a lot of team leaders, they don't handle it like that, and it's not built on trust, and it sounds like you build your team on trust.
Exactly. And when we signed up for the Cochran, I don't know if you all are familiar with Cochran coaching, but when we signed up for it, my coach, he told me, after talking to the team, he was like, I don't know what you've done, but this is the most cohesive team I've seen in a long time. So now what he does, he just enhances it as we do our coaching calls. And you're right. It's, you know, people get in this to survive and make money. And if I'm sitting there making all of the money and you're not making any money, that creates a problem, a big problem. So, you know, if I see that for her, I feel like, you know, I mean, she does everything. You know what I mean? So I don't see a problem with it. I got to make sure she's good.
So how do you determine what, if someone brings a personal lead in, how do you know it's not a market lead? How do you determine?
Because everything comes through, we have a tracking system, and I don't know if you all familiar with 5 Street?
With what?
5 Street.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We use 5 Street, we use Top Producer. Whenever someone comes in, and they come from the radio, they usually come through the website, and it automatically feeds into top producer. So when someone has a lead and this has happened, that's actually a good question. And all I do is type in the name and it pops up. And I don't say anything. I let the person tell me, yeah, this is the Bryant team lead. This is not a person. I never say anything. I allow them to come, and then I'm testing the waters. I'm seeing if this person is being forthright with me. And, you know, you have to do that because you never know. So, and I'll be honest, in my almost 4 years plus with the team, I've had one person that stole a deal from me, and Coy told me, let her have it. Just work her out of your team. And that's what I did. So I worked it out of my team. I helped her start her own team, and we departed on good ways. We had good terms, and that was it. And that lead came up because what happened when she took the lead, like I said, we had already did a buyer broker agreement with the lady, and she never knew that. So that's how we found out.
How do you convert the leads that come in from Realtor.com and Zillow? Do you have an inside salesperson that calls them immediately, or?
Well, we did try that, and that does work for some. What we have is each agent is attached to the 5 Street, and like I said, you eat what you kill. They all know to claim the leads within 3 minutes. It creates a competition, and everybody, I mean, it's to the point now with the leads that they're saying, wow, they claimed that too fast, because everybody's on alert. But you have to call within 3 minutes. And what we do, and this is a little different, what we do for Zillow and Realtor.com, when they call us, we don't ask them about financing. We don't ask them only thing we want to know, are you currently working with a real estate agent? And once that, and we can draw that out of them, we all know how to do that. And once we find out they're not, well, what time do you want to see the property? And we go straight to the property and create that report. And then after that, we follow up, and it's been working for us. I've learned with Zillow and Realtor.com, when you start asking about financing, you push people away. Because they don't know you from a can of, they don't know you at all. And you're starting to ask about financing. The key thing is what I say to the agents, because I've done it, and I had to do it to build a team. So it works. To me, it works because I've done it. So the key thing is knowing that they don't have an agent, and you won't be wasting your time. You know how many people that we get approved that we bring in the office that end up don't buy a house, and we wasted our time going around with them? It's a lot of people that happens to. So what's the difference between you going and take a chance with somebody at a property? You know, if you're a female, I don't suggest you go by yourself to meet a guy. I just do not suggest that. I say that to every female on the team. I actually, to the point where I was going to get stun guns. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's how I think about the ladies on the team. I want them to be safe. But when they go to meet a Zillow or Realtor.com lead, one of the guys from the team goes with them. Or some of them take their husbands. But the point is, make that contact and go show them that house.
Do you sponsor all your team members?
Do I sponsor all of them?
Are you the sponsor with Exit for all your team
For
members?
most of them, yes. Most of my team members were handpicked. And when I say handpicked, only 1 or 2. One was suggested to me by Coy because he wanted her to run this office, and she's still on the team, but I'm now running this office. And her sponsor left, so Coy's going to give me her answers. But yes, I sponsor almost everybody on the team except for maybe 2 people.
Feel that's essential to make a team work?
Say that again. I can't hear you.
Is that an essential piece of the Exit model to make a team work?
Well, it is, to me it is, and it can work without it, but it makes it a lot better when you do it that way. Because remember, we're not doing a 50-50 split. We're not doing 50-50 on everything. We're only doing, my split is 65-35 with my team. If I sponsor you, then I'm really getting 45%. So it's a win-win for everybody. So the model, so that's why I try to sponsor everybody on the team. And now once I get this other sponsorship, that will help my bottom line even better.
You feel it's a good time, a right time to start a team?
You said, do I feel it's the right time and a good time to start a team?
Yeah.
now.
In your business, not in the market, not big.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Well, I say you start a team after you start getting to the point where you cannot handle the leads that are coming in. When you start getting to the point where it's busy, I'll give you an example. When I started with those two people, I showed in one day 9 different client houses on a Saturday. Then the next day it was 10, was total to 19 that weekend. I was sore on Monday from climbing up and down stairs. Literally like I was working out. So when you start seeing that, because you can start juggling them and you could drop something, you would rather get some of a little bit of something than to have somebody go and trash your name and say, this person didn't call me back, they didn't show up. That you know, you're branding yourself. So you would rather have 35%, 40%, 50% of something than somebody just to trash your name.
So is your quality of life a lot better now that you're running a team?
It is. Yeah, I go to Jamaica twice a year. so it is. I travel to Miami at least 3 or 4 times a year. It is. I'm free, freer, I should say, to do things that enhance not only personal but business. Still a sacrifice in some of the things I do, but at the end of the day, yes, I see it's different. I do.
Other questions? Let's see if we covered all the questions. So what are the biggest challenges of running a team?
Personality.
Personality?
Personality is the biggest challenge in life. Personalities, when you have, I had a guest speaker come into one of our team meetings, and he sent me a text message. He said, all of your team members have very strong personalities. They're very different. He said, you will have conflict. He said, but what I want you to do is take that conflict to enhance your team. Find a way to use wisdom to join that, take that conflict and make it something as an example or something to build from your team. And actually, he was right. So that's the thing, personality. Now, as this team, we're family, husbands, wives. We do stuff together. For example, some of us are going to Jamaica in April. We do bowling trips together. We're going to the Agent Awards for PG County. Janita and her husband's going. Myself and Keisha, who is on my team that I date. Other couples are going from the team, and we eat together, we go to comedy shows together. It's like when you say a team, it's no different than a sports team. They have camaraderie and they do things together to build that relationship, to support each other. You have to do the same thing with the team. So it's like a family. You're going to have the challenge is personalities. And what you have to do as the team lead is see that and massage it into the right position. That's the best thing I can say with that, because you will have issues on the team. And the biggest issue you're going to have is that one person that you put the energy into that's going to tell you, it's not going to show appreciation. It's going to try to tell you to do things the way team 1, 2, 3 does it instead of the way you're doing it. And I always tell them, and you may want to use this, well, I appreciate you bringing that to me, but the difference is my vision is different from theirs. So my vision is not theirs. And if you feel that vision works for you and them, you might want to talk to them, because my vision is going to remain.
Awesome. So last question, probably the last question, unless you guys have other questions. But are you a corporation, LLC?
Say that again.
You're a corporation or LLC?
LLC.
LLC, yeah. So are you an employee of the LLC?
I am. Yep, I am.
Any other questions?
How big is the market that you guys service? How big is your market that you service?
It's pretty big. We do DC, Maryland, and Virginia. DC is a small market, but it has a higher price point. DC's price point as a rehab property is about $535, $500, and that's not exaggerating. We're going to settlement tomorrow on a property in Southeast, which is not it's a challenge area. I'll say it like that. It's very challenged. I'll further emphasize that. And we got a cash offer for 335, closing 15 days. So that's tomorrow. So that's because of the challenge area. But any other part of DC, it's 500 or better. Capitol Hill, we had a property on Capitol Hill that we got from Commissions Inc. Janita actually landed this one. We put it on the market for, how much was it? 890. We got a cash offer for 910 in 2 days. And we'll be selling that house that morning, and that seller will buy another house in Bowie for 589. So DC, Bowie, Maryland, Virginia, it's they call it the DMV. They're 5 minutes and 10 minutes away from each other. So you're talking about Virginia, you're talking about, can you take that from me? And you're talking about Virginia, you're talking about Maryland, which is huge. You're talking Baltimore, you're talking Frederick, you're talking Prince George's County, Charles County, Anne Arundel County. So it's huge.
That's big. That's really big.
So Commissions Inc., is that kind of like a market leader of Boomtown?
Yeah, it's similar to Boomtown. I've heard about Boomtown from Sonny down in Florida. And when we went down, they had Tim and Ray. They were showing me about Boomtown when we went down. And yeah, it's Commissions Inc. It's similar. It's a CRM. It's awesome. I mean, Chad has done Commissions Inc. a lot longer than I have, and I would encourage you when he comes on to ask the questions from him about Commissions Inc. because he actually told me, he said, get Commissions Inc. before you hire a coach. And me being the type of person I am, if you see Chad numbers and you know what Chad does, and if you saw him at the Agent Award before he sat down, was called back up to get another award, I would do what he said. I mean, I was talking to 10.
Yeah, so it's basically a conversion website and CRM.
Yeah, it is. And what it does, it captures people from Google, and you can actually click on the little world. If any one of you all want to call me afterwards, and I can kind of show you, like, I don't know if we can set up something I can show. You can click on it. You can actually see them, like when they start, like it's what time? 11:27. You can see somebody that just logged on, looking at houses on your website, from Google, whatever. You can actually see it. Then you have the ability to IM them while they're searching.
Oh.
And what they tell us in the training is don't come across like a stalker, though. You want to, because that's weird. You look at properties and I go, hey, how are you? You know what I mean?
All right, any other questions?
How big is the team? How many people on the team?
We have a total of 7. I started off with 11. That's when I was not knowing what I was doing until I went down to Georgia and met with Blair, and then when I met with Sean over there at Sonny and Ray's over the Exit Gallery, and when I met with them, I saw Sean had a big team and I had a big team, so I kind of was like, oh, I'm on the right track. But when I got back home, I kind of started following Blair. Blair is very admin heavy, and he has a few buyer's agents, and he's the only listing agent. So my team now is 7. I have 4 buyer's agents. I have to remember these things. I have 4 buyer's agents, 1 listing agent, 1 showing agent, and my team manager, she actually sells real estate. And my daughter is the assistant to my team manager up until she goes to school next year, up in the fall.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
Almost 4 years.
4 years? The
Yep.
team or real estate in general?
Say that again?
How long have you been in real estate? And how long
Since
has the team been?
2006. Since 2006.
Oh, 6.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And why did you choose LLC over S Corp?
Why did I choose an LLC over a corporation?
Yeah.
Well, because we're small, and from my understanding, what it was explained to me is a limited liability. It protects me from anything that can go wrong. I have limited liability, meaning that if they come after something goes wrong, they can go after the LLC and not as much as me. And that's what my concern was.
Is it imperative to have an awesome beard when you're leading a team?
Say that again. An awesome beard.
Yeah, a beard.
Hey, I'm looking to see. I can't. Hey, let it grow. Yes, you know. Yes, yes, you should have an awesome beard. I like beards.
I respect the beard. I think it's important for a team leader to have a great beard.
Exactly. So when we see each other at the convention, we'll take a selfie with these beards.
That sounds good. Sounds good to me, man.
All right. Well, we appreciate having you on. It's been great. Thank you so much for all your help and everything that you told us. You know,
It's an honor that you reached out. I appreciate Corey and yourself for allowing me to come on. I mean, you know, that kind of blew me away when you sent me that inbox. I said, wow, someone wants to hear from me? Okay. So, if you have any questions and you want to just call me, you can take down my cell phone number. I have 2 cell phones. I'm going to give you the one that you can probably get somebody on all the time. It's 202-553-3035. Don't hesitate to call. I don't bite. I'm not. What you see with me right now is really what you get. It's not a show. I'm transparent. I'm friendly. If you want, I mean, I'm just, what you see is what you get. And that's what it is, period.
awesome. All right. I appreciate it. Got Chad just signed on, so if you want to hang on, I'm just going to take you off as a panelist, but you can hang on and listen all you want. And otherwise, appreciate everything you told us today.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
You hang up on him?
Thanks for your time, but we got
Just do this.
fine.
We're gonna play show.
Chad, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. I appreciate you. I understand you just got back from being away, and I appreciate you spending a few minutes with us today. We just had George Bryant, who speaks highly of you too, on, and he shared some of his insight. So I guess just share with us a little bit about your team and you know, how you got to be #1 in Exit Corporate, and just a little bit about, you know, some advice on guys that are looking to start their team on how they go about that in the right manner.
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years, but really embraced the team concept probably 7 years ago, and it was a small team. It was just myself and 1 buyer's agent. We've grown substantially since then, and last year we had 2 listing partners and 4 buyer's agents, and now for the start of 2017, we're up to 4 listing partners, and we have 7 buyer's agents. I'll have another one starting here in a month. And so for us, it's just, you know, obviously we have a lot of leads coming in and trying to follow up with those leads. So one thing we've done also is we just hired 2 ISAs, and that's an inside sales associate. And so we're training them in as we speak. They've been here for probably 3 weeks, and they'll make anywhere between 500 to 700 calls a day. And so they're prospecting for us as well.
Wow, that's a lot of calls. Are they calling? Who are they calling? Are they calling just owners on streets and just canvassing, or what?
Well, I mean, we generate roughly 700 buyer leads a month. So obviously each month that, you know, that continues to grow. And in our database, we have about 12,000, little over 12,000 buyers currently. And so they're cultivating those buyers. And, you know, studies have shown that it takes 10 months before an internet buyer will become an actual buyer or purchase a home. So we want to be there when they raise their hands. So what they do is we use a Mojo dialer system, and they'll dial 3 lines, and whoever picks up, that's who they talk to. And then we also canvass our new listings as well as our open houses and let people know that, you know, we're having an open house or that we just listed a new home in their neighborhood. So
Nice.
there's a method to the madness.
Yeah. What would you recommend a team that's just starting out their first hire? Should they hire an assistant first, or?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you don't have an assistant, typically you are the assistant. And so we've always taken the adage that if you're doing a $15 an hour job, your time's worth more than that. And so, I mean, we have 9 assistants on our team. And so to give you an idea, we have a full-time photographer that she takes pictures of all of our listings. She also does the Matterport for us. We have a runner, picks up signs, lock boxes. We have 2 listing coordinators that help with the listings. I also have 2 closing coordinators, one for the buy side, one for the sell side. We also have a bookkeeper. I have a personal assistant, then I have a marketing and client coordinator director. So.
Oh, that's impressive. So what is your role on a daily basis now?
Well, I'm still in production, so not as much. I mean, 2 years ago I did 225 deals myself. Last year I did about 125, and so this year I'm trying to scale back and hopefully do about 60 is all.
Okay.
How much does your team do?
Well, I mean, I have one listing partner. Our team last year did 551 deals, 115 million in sales.
Wow.
And our office did 850 and about 158 million in sales.
What prompted you to start a team? Was it time? Was it scaling back? Or?
Well, I think I do a lot of marketing. And so to get that return on investment, I think you have to have a team. I mean, the marketing's expensive. And so if you're just one person, it's really difficult to work with buyers and sellers, in my opinion, so we specialize. And it's worked out very well.
So I take it you specialize in the listing side yourself?
Yeah. Yep. I probably haven't shown a house in 5 years.
Do your clients that you had for long term that have always bought into you have a hard time when you are not willing to show them properties now?
Well, I just tell them that, I focus on the listing side, and obviously I'm going to help the buyer's agent negotiate the deal. Ultimately, I have some buyer's agents that are way better at it than I am. So, if my mom were buying a house, heck, I'd probably want Randa or Amanda, one of my lead buyer's agents, negotiating that deal because they're very good at what they do. And obviously I'll oversee the transaction. So.
What do you do? How do you market? What's the majority of your marketing dollars go towards?
Well, we're looking at that right now. I mean, we spend like last month I spent 11 grand on Realtor.com, and we didn't see the ROI that we wanted. So we're going to try and pull back. The bad thing is they lock you into a year contract, so that's kind of a bummer. So we're talking to our rep right now. We do prints. We do a 16-page magazine that goes out every other month. That costs about 5 grand. Plus, you can pick it up at over 100 different businesses. Really, overhead is the rent, and again, we have 11 employees if you count the ISAs, so we have a lot of overhead from an employee standpoint. We do a lot of pay-per-click. We use Commissions Inc. We do SEO marketing, so we cover almost everything.
Well, do you know how much in your market the average cost to procure a buyer is?
Well, that's where Realtor.com, for example, we're always looking for a minimum of 2-to-1 ROI. And last month we were a little flat, so I actually lost money on Realtor.com, so that doesn't excite me. But at the same time, it's January in Minnesota, so it's pretty.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to go out and look at houses right now. But yeah, as far as, an internet lead's going to cost anywhere from $30 to $50 typically. And I'd like to see that down, but that's just what we pay. So. Yeah,
and your conversion rate on those is probably what, 5%, 3 to 5%?
We're a little better than that. We're in that 6.5% range.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you're looking at starting a team, I would highly encourage you to start off and get an assistant, somebody that can take the photos and help you, with the marketing and just get you more organized. And the next step would probably be a buyer's agent, having somebody to follow up on the leads. And, what we look at is, a lot of the top teams, they say anywhere from 30 to 50 leads per month per buyer's agent. And we've had a challenge finding the right people, recruiting the right agent. We have actually found that we like the newbies on the buyer's agent better than the existing agents, because if they're an existing agent, typically if they're successful, they don't want to necessarily don't want to join a team. Maybe they don't. But if they're brand new, we can teach them the right way to do business and how to prospect and scripts and dialogues, and they seem more open.
Agents on your team, can they do business that they bring in personally at a different split level, or is it all the same?
All the same. You know, ideally, again, this isn't necessarily my philosophy, but a lot of the top rainmakers say that a third should come from the rainmaker, a third should come from their sphere, and a third should come from their own prospecting, which is open houses, door knocking, cold calling, etc. I think that's probably a little skewed. We'd like to see 25% come from their sphere, and then the rest would come from, you know, us and you know, 25% from their sphere and their own prospecting, and then 75% from the rainmaker.
Have you sponsored your entire team? Is that important to you, sponsoring your team members?
Yeah, you really have to, otherwise it doesn't, the model I don't think works.
Okay. You guys got questions there?
What's your turnover as far as team members coming and going, and what's the average length of time team members have been with you?
Well, that's a great question. You know, we've been fortunate. I mean, I haven't had a lot of turnover. I've lost a couple of team members, but it's been within the first month of them starting, where they just weren't able to keep the pace and work the hours. So I think they realized early on. We did have one gal that left the team, and she was with me for about 10 months. And she had a good first year. I mean, she did 40 plus homes and did over $6 million in sales. So we were sad to see her go. But she's an independent now with the company. So, and she's just, again, doesn't want to put in all the hours that the team members do and just wants to slow down a little bit. So we have not had a lot of turnover. Those would be just the I've had two that have left in the first month, and then this gal that was less than a year. But I've had team members have been with me 7 years, 4 years, 3 years. But I mean, they're also making, you know, over 200 grand a year, so they're pretty happy and don't have the expenses. So,
All right. And how many hours a week typically?
well, I mean, it's as you guys know,
I know it's a bad question.
I say it's wake to faint a lot of times, you know, and we're trying to scale back, but it's a lifestyle, and so we set that expectation up front that this is, you know, we have to get, whether it's an independent agent or a team member, we have to get them to momentum. And momentum could take 6 weeks, it could take 6 months, but once they get to momentum, they start making some money. And so it takes a little time to get them to that point. And, you know, ideally, we'd like to see the listing partners take Sundays off if they can. We're also looking at the buyer's agents trying to take one day off during the week. And again, it's, you know, you're thankful when you're busy, and so if you're out showing houses, typically you're going to have a paycheck, you know. So it's a lot of work though. So we always try and overemphasize that fact that it's, you know, it's 50, 60, 70 hours a week some weeks.
Yeah. Do you feel you have infrastructure that can sustain the downturn in the market? I mean, right now things are hot, so it's great to have an abundance of leads and things, but as things change at some point.
Well, I mean, our market has slowed down. I mean, we were up a little bit this month, but, you know, I lose money January, February, and March. So I'm, you know, I get a little crabby right now. I just saw my January report, which wasn't the greatest. And so again, you know, but I believe in the system. And typically what you'll find is in a hot market, there's a lot more agents. And so when the market does correct, we feel like we'll be in a good position with our systems and the ISAs to continue our growth. And what we've seen is when the market tends to cool off, probably, you know, 30 to 40% of the realtors get out of the business, which isn't a bad thing for us.
So before you get to a level of maybe hiring an inside sales person, who would you say should be converting those leads? The rainmaker or? No,
that's not the rainmaker's job. So that would be the buyer's agents and the listing partners. So we have a lead phone for the buyer's agents, and that they'll take a shift. It might be 9 to 3, 3 to 9. And so all incoming leads go to that lead phone. And then they have 3 days to cultivate that lead and try and claim it as their own. they're allowed to have 40 what we call A buyers in their pond, in their personal pond. All the other leads go into the pond, and so the pond is where they spend their hour and a half to 2 hours a day prospecting. And so anybody can call anybody in the pond, and so they're reaching out, seeing who's on the website, trying to cultivate those leads and claim them as their own. The pond is also what the ISAs are calling on as well. So, you know, we're hammering those leads pretty hard, and obviously we have very detailed notes and tags, you know, don't call this person back, you know, after March. You know, if they say call us back in 2 months, we always cut it in half. But yeah, we want them to prospect a minimum of 90 minutes a day.
Now the pod, do you have a CRM that you use for that?
Sure, yeah, we use Commissions Inc.
Okay. So you leads that you're not getting from that website conversion, you're sticking in there, basically?
All the leads will go in there. Yep, absolutely. Every single lead.
So it's, I've heard of Commissions Inc. I don't know much about them. They're kind of like a Boomtown or a market leader, but.
It's that on steroids, actually.
Is it? Okay.
It's an incredible system.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, with Commissions Inc., we can tell how long they've been on our site, if their email's linked with any social media, so we can kind of find out a little bit about that potential client before we call them, creep on their Facebook page or Twitter, whatever they have. Again, they can save searches. It also does a disc profile on them, so we can find out who we're talking to, if it's a high D or an I or a C. So yeah, it's a really cool system.
Wow.
Is there any aspect of being an independent agent that you miss of not having this? Like, what would be the pros and cons?
Well, I mean, you know, we got a lot of mouths to feed, so there's a lot of responsibility as far as taking care of families, and you know, my break even's $100,000 a month, so we got to sell a lot of houses to break even. So obviously, that's motivation to get up and work hard every day and hold people accountable. And like I tell them, if you're slow, we're really slow, right? So we try and get them up to momentum again, and obviously January is a little bit for us, but seems like things are kind of picking back up, which is great.
Do you feel like your quality of life is better running a team than being an individual agent?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, financially, it's you know, there's more risk because you have more expenses, and but the return's great. I mean, you know, not to brag, but you know, I net well over $1 million a year, and that's my net. And so we're able to afford a really nice lifestyle for my wife and kids, but it's a lot of hard work. I mean, I always tell the team, if you can work 90% as hard as I do, we're going to get along just fine. So I lead by example. I'm not a rainmaker that takes off at 2. I mean, last night I worked till 8 o'clock, and there's always something that we can be doing. There's always new follow-up systems. There's always scripts. There's always new marketing pieces we're trying to explore and implement. So we always have to keep growing as a rainmaker, because if you become stagnant, your team senses that, and that's not a good thing. And also your competition will start to catch up on you.
Yeah. Do you know what your ratio is of buyers to listings?
Our side, we're probably, you know, we'd like to increase our buyer side. I'd say right now we're more on the listing side. It's probably 60-40. It should be actually the other way around, is it should be 60% buyers, 40% listings. But again, we need to get more people on the bus to follow up and cultivate those leads. So that's been a challenge for us, is because these buyers agents are running around crazy, and I know we're dropping business. So
What's your best source of marketing dollars for obtaining listings?
Well, we do a lot of TV and radio, and that's been very good. So we've teamed up with Barbara Corcoran, and we do some stuff with Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck and our local radio talents. So that's been strong. We do every door direct mailers, and that's been very good. We're doing the Barbara Corcoran TV ad. That's created good brand awareness. So ideally, you know, the average person can think of 3 realtors when they decide to list a home, and we want to make sure we're one of the 3, so that way we get a shot on goal and get the opportunity to earn their business.
Oh, how many monthly mailers do you guys do?
Well, I mean, currently we have 163 homes listed. So once we hit probably the middle of April, we'll be at about 250 homes. I would say, our goal is to do 50 listings this month, and we should be able to get 9 out of 10 when we go on an appointment.
Yeah. How many mailers do you guys do on a monthly basis?
20,000.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Other questions? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Is Paul Heinlein out there in your office?
He is. Yep. Paul works with me. Yep.
Do you think I'd be able to woo him over here to Massachusetts and work for a little bit, steal him away from you?
I think he likes it here. And Paul's independent and great guy, and he's doing fabulous. So,
I met Paul and his wife in Nashville. They're awesome people, and we've kept in touch a bit. So
yep, he's a great guy.
great guy. So no chance of me stealing him away.
Well, he's a big Vikings fan, so I don't know if he'd be able to root for the Patriots or not.
He'd have a little tough sledding out here, but we're big on hockey too. So
Okay.
fit in.
yeah, great. I do have one more question. Is there a time when you think it's the right time to start a team from being an independent agent, or is it just whenever?
Well, I think you're going to sense that. I mean, when you're running ragged and can't keep up, that's the ideal time. And again, I think, depending on what kind of business you're doing, but once you start to hit that, $5 million threshold in sales, that's probably the logical time to get an assistant to help you out. Again, if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. But the challenging thing is, you have to be able to pay for that assistant. So typically, once you hit about 5 to 6 million, you're at the point where you want an assistant. And then after that would be the buyer's agent. That may be, that could be once you start doing 7 to 8 million, you start hiring the buyer's agents.
Yeah.
A lot of times people say, well, I want to be a team with this person, and historically that doesn't work because there can't be two rainmakers. And so if you're going to go in and be a team with somebody else other than your spouse, I think it's difficult because somebody's going to rise to the top, whether it's, you or the other agent. And so that's where I think a lot of teams, they want to do a team, but ultimately it doesn't work because there's no rainmaker. And so, I've had a few agents in our office say, I want to do a team. And I said, well, you don't have enough leads. You're not doing enough business yourself. I mean, you're at $2 million, $3 million in sales. How are you going to feed another buyer's agent? You're not doing enough business. So I think the big thing is to focus on your business independently and get it over that $5 million mark, and then look at, possibly doing a team. And again, that team, the first step is hiring that personal admin.
Are you big on personality assessments?
Absolutely. Yeah, no question. So, typically your best listing partners are high Ds. And so, I brought on a couple of listing partners that did not do any buying agent work with buyers at all. They just transitioned right into that listing partner role, but they did have real estate experience prior. But we'll typically have the buyer's agents, be a buyer's agent and then transfer into a listing partner. But again, they have to fit the disc. And so if they're not a high D, they aren't going to be a good listing partner.
What about your assistant? What do you look for personality-wise in a good assistant?
Well, preferably not a D or an I, so we're looking for a SC. They can have a little I in them, but preferably, they're going to be more in that supportive type role.
Are your assistants licensed?
Half hour. Yeah.
Do you allow them to do business also?
No. I think that's a conflict because then I'm paying them hourly and all of a sudden they're, they have to go show a house or they have to do this. And so they're licensed to handle questions for clients, and, our closing coordinators are all licensed. But yeah, I think it's difficult to have them be in the field as well.
All right. I think that's it. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, and I thank you so much for coming on with us today. And And keep on rocking over there in Minnesota.
Absolutely, anytime. Glad I could help, so.
All right, take it easy. All right, thanks, Chad. Thank you. All right, thanks, guys. Gonna drop them off, and we'll end this thing. All right.
He's
Was that good or what?
$2 million a year in marketing to make $1 million. That's really put it out there. Because his overhead is $100,000 a month. So he's spending $1.2 million a year on marketing.
Yeah.
Or like he said that was about like his break-even point.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my marketing
Yeah.
campaign, is how we
Yeah.
employees,
So
team,
he's
everything.
doubling his money every year.